evening and welcome to the 2010 Minnesota 5th Congressional Debate. My name is Don Allen. I'm with the Independent Business News Network. With me tonight is my co-host, Mr. Ron Edwards.
Thank you, Don. And I am the host of Black Focus here at MTN, and we are very appreciative, really, of being here in the corporate offices and studios of Minneapolis Television Network. So that the viewing audience understands, we extended an invitation to everyone that is a candidate for the 5th Congressional seat. Unfortunately, the Democrats and Republicans chose not to attend this particular debate and share with us and with you, most importantly the viewing audience, their thoughts, their thinking, their platform, and whatever else. We were greatly disappointed in the decline by the current two-term incumbent, because we thought that there were specifically some questions that we really wanted to ask as it pertains to the international agenda. But for whatever reason, the current two-term incumbent decided that this program, this live telecast, was not worthy of his presence.
And I would just like to expound on the Minnesota GOP endorsed candidate, Joel Demos, not being here today. The Republican Party of Minnesota and the 5th Congressional District Republicans are on life support. They are in need of resuscitation. They choose to sing to the choir and not participate or go down into the community, into the trenches, and do something different. The invitation was extended, and haven't gotten a yes or no, just a lot of static. But with that said, we're going to move on with the candidates that have graced us with their presence here tonight. And on your viewing right, we have Mike Kavlin, who's running as an independent progressive. We have Lynne Torgerson in the center, running as a stateswoman. And at the end, we have Tom Shrunk, who's running with the Independence Party. All three of these candidates are on the ballot. And starting off, we'd like, starting with Mr. Kavlin, we'd like you to take some time and tell us about your platform.
All right. Well, first of all, gentlemen, thank you very much, and thank you for the opportunity to be able to address the issues that we're going to be talking about here, and have, most importantly, the people of the 5th District hear from the people who are trying to get elected and the views that we need to have heard in this country. My name is Michael Kavlin. I am a very proud independent, very proud progressive. I'm also a registered nurse. I've been quite frankly, a decades-long media activist and peace and justice activist who has watched our country spiraling out of control. To quote the famous journalist Greg Palast, who is, by the way, a journalist who cannot get a job inside the United States, he works for the BBC, we have the best democracy money can buy. And that's what I see as being the real problem. We have a democracy which is bought and sold by major corporations. On top of which we have, again, quite frankly, given the fact that our Democrat and our Republican friends are not here at the moment, we as a nation need to realize that the Democrats and Republicans are working together. They put up, as I see, and as many of us see, put up a pseudo-opposition to each other, while behind doors and in secret meetings and smoky halls, they make their own deals. So I'm here as a candidate to expose that. And I can guarantee you that when I get to Washington, D.C., I have exposed the corruption for what it really is, and I will stand up for you, the American people, for all of us. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Lynne Torgerson, please.
Good evening. My name is Lynne Torgerson, and I'm running for Congress in the 5th Congressional District of the state of Minnesota. That includes the beautiful city of Minneapolis and its first-ring suburbs. I want to give you a little bit of background on myself. I was born and raised in the Minneapolis and suburban area. I attended the University of Minnesota and got degrees in political science and psychology. After that, I attended law school at William Mitchell College of Law. While there, I was on law review and graduated with honors. Subsequent to law school, I got a job with the Honorable Ralph J. Geffen, a federal magistrate for the United States District Court, Central District of California. After being out there for a few years, I returned to Minneapolis and founded my own law practice downtown Minneapolis, and I've been running my own successful law practice for the past 15 years. I do want to mention that for the past 20 years as a lawyer, I have devoted my life to protecting the civil and constitutional rights of people of all races, all nationalities, and all religions, and I wish to continue doing that in Congress. I also want to mention that I'm running as an independent without any party affiliation. I've always been kind of friends with people of all different sorts of types of groups. I am friendly with and have friends who are Democrats, Republicans, Greens, etc. So I feel that that would be a good option to bring to the table in this congressional election cycle. I am running for Congress because I want to keep and protect America's freedoms, the American dream, and the U.S. Constitution. America is not perfect, but it's definitely the best, safest, and most prosperous country on earth, and that is worth keeping and protecting. I also want to wake up America to the threat of political ideological Islam. This is different than the religion part of Islam, which is the religion part of Islam is the worship of the moon god Allah. Only a small part of Islam, however, is religion, and the rest is Islamic Sharia law. And as far as Islamic Sharia law is concerned, that is a hostile political ideology that is at odds with our U.S. Constitution. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Tom Shrunk, please.
Hello, I'm Tom Shrunk, Independence Party candidate for Minnesota's 5th Congressional District. I'm an artist, a former Peace Corps volunteer, ordinary citizen. We have too many earmarks and loopholes in our laws. We have toxic hyperpartisanship, which prevents laws from going forward that should. We have laws which benefit only those that have access to Congress. In an era where we see a 400-to-1 differential between people who are doing the job and the business executives, we can ask ourselves, which are those that have access to Congress? One of the things that I would say about the people that are running for Congress, in terms of the Democrats and the Republicans, we'll hear from them that how moderate they are, how independent they are. One of the things we should ask ourselves is take a look at the platforms that they put forward. How close are they to the current orthodox positions of their party? This will tell you just how independent they are.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Edwards.
Thank you. In light of your candidacies and in light of the unfortunate historical struggle for the quote-unquote minor parties as defined to get the kind of recognition, but more importantly, the respect, could you share with us in the 3 minutes allocated your thoughts on your relationship with the media and how the media has handled your candidacy and your campaigns, as well as the role of the League of Women Voters in facilitating a fair and balanced playing field?
And we'll start with Mr. Mike Kavlin.
Thank you. I'd be happy to take that one. Again, I speak as a decades-long media activist, as well as being active, obviously, in peace, justice, equality, and other issues. And those of us who are part of the non-corporate parties, that's Democrats or Republicans, have been experiencing on a regular basis what we like to call political bigotry of exclusion. And that's the best, most simple, most honest way to put it. We are all here on the ballot. We fought hard in our various respective places to get on that ballot and to have our rights, to have our views heard, and more importantly, our constituents. And yet we are being excluded, and we're being excluded everywhere. In regards to the ideals of third-party movements, we need to realize that this country has been based upon a lot of our social progress as a nation has been built upon, in large part, on the back of third-party movements. I give you Exhibit A, Abraham Lincoln. Abraham Lincoln was a third-party activist who fought outside of the Whigs and the Democrats. He fought on the issue of the ending of slavery, and his party eventually did come to power. So third-party movements have always moved this country forward as a part of that broader social movement. The advances made on Social Security, health care, women's rights, women's suffrage, has been based upon, in part, upon the idea of allowing the voices and visions of third-party activists. In regards to the League of Women Voters, I will tell you, I find that especially distressing because I went to their offices and they have stuff on their wall talking about the women's suffrage movement. And they made an important point of pointing out that it was men standing shoulder to shoulder with women in their right to have the right to vote. And yet they are now themselves, as an organization, practicing their own naked political bigotry. I will tell you that, and I'll be very honest with you all, I actually expect our campaign to do very, very well. The betrayals of the Democratic and Republican parties together is making a lot of people very angry. I expect our campaign to do very, very well, a lot better than expected, maybe even, God help us all, actually win. And I look forward with great joy to how the Star Tribune, WCCO, KSTP, and all those other corporate media outlets, how are they going to react to a candidate and a campaign which they have refused to talk about actually winning an election? So that's my answer.
Thank you. Ms. Torgerson?
Thank you. I don't have a whole lot to say about that issue. I think I've gotten a fair amount of media coverage. I've done a number of radio interviews. I believe that my campaign has had a lot of good coverage in the 5th Congressional District. And we are planning on victory one way or the other if the League of Women Voters included us in that. That's just one debate. There's other debates, there's other forums. The League of Women Voters, I think by not including all candidates on the ballot, has violated its own mission statement. It states that it's not going to favor or oppose any particular candidate, and that its mission is to educate voters about candidates. So clearly, by not including all candidates in a debate sponsored by them, they've violated their own mission statements, which I think calls into question their integrity. And I believe it opens the door for somebody to come in and fill that spot with integrity. And that's all I have to say about that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Tom, please.
Well, I am Tom Schrunk. I actually was included in the League of Women Voters KSTP debate, which was taped on September 25th. I was included because the rules as they outlined them were those invited had to be endorsed by a major party. There are 3 major parties according to Minnesota state designation, and each of the candidates had to have at least a backing of 5% of the electorate. I don't know if polls had been done at that point, but at any rate, I was allowed to be there, and I was told I'd done quite well. One of the things that, as to